The sun barely touched the rooftops, but the world was already breathing. The smell of coffee, the birds singing, and the distant sound of a screen door creaking open. It was the beginning of another ordinary day in that America that never seemed to grow old. On the sidewalks, dew sparkled like tiny diamonds, and the flags on the porches swayed lazily, as if the wind itself had just awakened. The newspapers were delivered with precision, folded the same way each morning, as if every delivery carried a quiet sense of respect. The boy stopped his bicycle, took a newspaper from the basket in front, folded it carefully, and placed it by the door before moving on. A lazy golden retriever crossed the street with the calm confidence of one who knew the world would wait for him. The sun touched his golden fur, and for a moment, he truly looked like the silent king of the neighborhood.
The time is 7:25 a.m., and the temperature is 18
Inside the
degrees.
houses, the radios came to life. Familiar voices announced the weather, like someone sharing a secret with an old friend. Life seemed to have its own rhythm, a slow and gentle tempo, as if time itself were more patient there. In the backyard, a man lit his first cigarette of the day, looking up at the sky, as if silently giving thanks for another dawn. The wind gently moved the trees behind him. Life was happening in silence. The town woke without hurry. The sound of doors opening, the first brooms sweeping the sidewalks, and a sincere good morning crossing the street. The church bell rang 8 times. It wasn't a call. It was a reminder. You are alive, and the day has just begun. And there, between the sound of the wind and the smell of fresh bread, America awoke once more, in the same way, in the same rhythm, as if time itself had decided that this moment deserved to last forever. The streets, now awake, filled with laughter. Children ran as if the whole world were their backyard. Summer was an invitation to be free, and no one said no. Boys in short pants raced down the hill on their homemade go-karts, shouting like little adventurers in a race only they could understand. On the corner of the sidewalk, a girl drew with colored chalk, her whole world fitting inside lines the rain would soon wash away. Across the street, 2 boys played baseball with a worn-out bat and a ball that had survived many summers. The neighborhood dog, always part of the game, stole the ball and ran away to a chorus of laughter. A mother watched from the porch, a dish towel in her hands, and a peaceful smile on her face. That scene was already a piece of eternity. A radio played next door, a summer melody that seemed to cradle the whole world. At the corner, a small fountain spilled water, and the children turned it into a toy, laughing at the freshness and freedom only childhood understands. Shadows began to shift, and the heat rose slowly, but no one seemed to mind. The street was a stage, and every laugh, a small applause for life. Inside the houses, summer had its own rhythm. The sound of windows opening, the smell of bread in the oven, and the distant echo of a simple, happy life. The kitchen was the beating heart of the home. Amid pots and laughter, the day began to take shape. On the table, the radio and the newspaper shared space, and conversation flowed like the hot coffee being poured. The fan turned lazily, as if it too were swayed by the warmth of the day. In the hallway, old photos watched time go by, faces that seemed to smile back, even when no one noticed. In the living room, the worn-out couch held talks, naps, and stories. There, even time seemed to rest for a while. A father read the newspaper while his son played with a wooden toy train at his feet. The silence was full of love. Outside, clothes swayed on the line, dancing in the wind like flags of an invented country. The sound of a lawnmower in the distance, mixed with birdsong. It was the soundtrack of routine, the simple music of an ordinary day. And as noon approached, the whole house seemed to breathe together. Between the heat and the calm, life went on in the perfect rhythm of the America that was. The clock in the square showed 9:30. The high sun glimmered on the shop windows, and the city's murmur began to rise, soft and familiar, like a gentle chorus of known voices. The shop windows displayed new dresses, shiny shoes, and hats hung with pride, all waiting for a curious glance to bring them to life. The barber swept the sidewalk with the same care he'd use to comb his own son's hair. It was another day of stories, scissors, and talk. On the corner, the diner owner lit the neon sign. The smell of bacon and coffee spread through the air, and the morning gained its unmistakable flavor. People greeted each other by name, with long handshakes and honest smiles. Here, every face was known and welcome. At the newsstand, headlines spoke of the world, but no one seemed in a hurry to leave. It was as if time itself stopped to read. The hardware store bell rang with every customer, echoing down the street as a gentle reminder life was in motion. A woman arranged flowers on the shop counter, spreading color, fragrance, and kindness through the block. At the ice cream parlor, kids balanced on tall stools, licking time itself before it melted away. And by noon, when the sun scorched the square, the town seemed to sigh with contentment. Nothing was urgent. Everything was life. The fields stretched beyond sight, a golden carpet where the sun lay heavy. The wind blew slowly, as if too lazy to move. The tractors purred in the distance, dotting the silence with metallic notes. It was the sound of the routine that fed a nation. In the barn, the smell of hay and warm wood mixed with the sound of a forgotten radio. Noon had arrived, unannounced, but certain.
Oh, the sun shines bright on my Tennessee home.
The time is 11:52 a.m.
Cows gathered under the fence's shadow, and even the birds seemed to fly slower. A boy walked through the field, a hat too big, bare feet, carrying an empty bucket, and all the time in the world. Butterflies drifted through the warm air, floating like small pieces of tired light. An old man walked slowly along the dirt road, hat in hand, eyes calm. He seemed to be talking to time itself. The heat made the horizon shimmer, as if the world itself were breathing. The distant sound of a train broke the silence, a reminder that the city still existed, but far enough away not to disturb the peace. And when the farm clock struck 12, no one hurried, no one stopped, only summer went on, whole, intense, and eternal. Under the generous shade of trees, families gathered with checkered blankets and wicker baskets. Summer took on the taste of lemonade and joy. The sound of ice in a glass was music. Each sip brought the freshness the body craved, and the heart was grateful. Blankets filled with sandwiches, pies, and fruit. Nothing was fancy, and nothing needed to be. Simplicity was enough. A portable radio played a lively tune, and soon someone clapped along. Summer knew how to dance.
Get the ball, quick!
Children chased a ball, while the adults pretended not to care who won. The game was just an excuse to laugh. A happy dog barked, stealing sandwiches and hearts. No one scolded him. After all, it was summer. Stories were told slowly, between bites and smiles. Time itself seemed to listen. Laughter mingled with the wind, and sunlight filtered through the leaves, as if blessing every face beneath it. As the clock reached mid-afternoon, voices softened and silence stretched, like a blanket of calm over everyone. And as the sun leaned gently westward, life felt perfect, because no one was in a hurry to let it pass. The sun began to lower, painting everything in a gentle gold. Shadows stretched, as if reaching for infinity. The lake mirrored the sky like a tired mirror, holding the day's last glimmer before night came to take it away. Children gathered their toys from the yard, their footprints left behind in the damp earth like signatures of summer. On the porch, someone strummed a guitar, and the melody seemed to cradle the setting sun. The air smelled of cut grass and old promises. Voices faded to murmurs, and silence began to take on color. A couple walked down the dirt road, hands clasped, steps slow, as if time existed only for them. The church bell rang again, but this time it sounded like a farewell. The wind lifted dry leaves, dancing playfully with the fading day. Each leaf seemed like a memory drifting away. Windows lit up one by one, as if the town were lighting its own stars. And when the last ray disappeared behind the hills, no one applauded, but everyone felt it. The day had been too beautiful to need words. When the sun was finally gone, the world seemed to breathe slower. The day's heat gave way to a peace that came from the soul. Porches filled with soft voices, quiet laughter, and the creak of rocking chairs. It was the sound of rest and of peaceful life. In the garden, cicadas set the rhythm of the night, and fireflies, like earthly stars, lit up a sky of their own. The radio played softly, an old song that seemed written for that very moment. A woman closed the windows while her husband put out his last cigarette. The day finally said goodbye, content. The streets emptied, but the air remained full of stories, hovering between the cricket's song and the flicker of lights. In some distant window, a curtain moved, reminding that the world was still awake, just quieter.
Check out the threads on that
Young
guy
people
across.
gathered at the corner,
He must be from outer
speaking softly, dreaming loudly. The future smelled like gasoline and freedom. Time seemed to pause between one firefly blink and the next. It was the kind of silence the soul recognizes, even without knowing why. And so, night fell completely, dressed in calm, scented with memory. Outside, the world slept. Inside, the heart dreamed. Summer fell asleep slowly, like a tired child after a long day of play. The streets, now silent, kept the trace of the sun. In every home, a light still burned. In every soul, a living memory. Nothing is ever lost when lived with the heart. Time may take away the voices, but never the feeling. The America we remember still breathes right here inside. And when tomorrow comes, bringing new faces, new sounds, and new streets, may it arrive with the same sweetness as before. Because maybe time changes, but the heart stays the same. And so, the day ends, and the cycle begins again, as it always was, and always will be. The America we remember is not in the streets, nor in the pictures. It lives in the space between a smile and a longing. And when the wind blows, it's as if she whispers back, "I'm still here." The camera pulls away. The town sleeps. The sky lights up. Life, as always, goes on in the same beautiful way it once did. And at the heart of every memory shines a quiet promise. The past never dies, it only changes address.